morning. Good morning. Welcome to Detroit in Black and White, our Saturday mornings edition. Listen, we got a repeat of the crew from last night. It's our downriver brother. I'm gonna just call him Chief. What's up, Chief? Jim Nardone.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hello, Duela. Good, Detroit in black and white, where you can have any opinion you want. And we still live in a free country, and you're entitled to say whatever you want on our show. So please join us. Tell us where we're right. Tell us where we're wrong. Tell us what we don't know what we're talking about. We're all good.
Listen. I disagree with him. What I mean by that is, yeah, you can say whatever you want. I agree with that, but guess what? Don't be surprised if you have to suffer the repercussions. Okay, freedom of speech does not come without a cost. But what we want you to do, you already know. Lady T, what's up? Everybody give a shout out to Lady T. She already put it up here. You know this is the greatest show on these what? On these YouTube streets, on these Detroit streets, on these streets in the state of Michigan. We want you to like, subscribe, and share. To subscribe is free. To share is free. Now, if you want to like it or dislike it, we okay with that. If you press dislike, that's okay because we get credit for the views. So we okay with that. You can catch us on all social media platforms. You can also join us in the comment section. If you want to make a comment, you don't want to show your face by using that QR code that's in the corner, that's cool. But we're inviting you to come on into the room, whether it be by the comment section or by using that camera and coming on into the room. Listen, last night, it was HAWT. It was smoking HAWT. Why? Because the chief, he brought it. He brought the receipts. Did y'all hear that paper going? Did y'all hear that paper? He did his research. He let it rip. Now, we have to make sure that everybody knows that the opinion of Jim Nardone, the opinion of Adolph Mongo, who's not here, by the way, today. He's out. He's doing well. He's enjoying some time off. And the opinions of Allan Lengel, who is also out, and he's enjoying some time off. Listen, those opinions belong to those individuals and those individuals only. We're not here to check you unless you're coming from me. I will be honest. If I'm not sending for you and you come from me, I'm going to have to let you know. But
let's take that a step further. The contributors and the people that are the Les and Stephanie Jackson. Good morning. Les, good morning. Karen Winston, 634. Jill Sheridan, Duela Boys. Everybody can say, if I missed anybody, let's have a robust discussion. And the opinions of everybody else that's contributing are their opinions, and they're entitled to them. I will defend your constitutional right. All the amendments to the Bill of Rights, all of them. And the Constitution, and you're entitled to it. So take advantage of it on Detroit in black and white. Take advantage of your constitutional right to free speech. Take advantage of maybe educating your fellow man or woman, or maybe lead them astray. Whatever you decide to do, it's up to you. Marlon Hall. Should the America Save Act pass? That's the voter act I think we're talking about. Is that it? Go ahead, Vanessa. That's a great way to start the show. Let's our friend Marlon from Florida. We've got a couple Floridians or part-time Floridians or transplanted Floridians, Michiganders that join our show. We're grateful to have them on the show. So maybe we start there today. Let Marlon start the discussion.
Yeah, Marlon, why don't you come in the room or put in the comment section how you feel about the Save the American Act. I don't think it's going to pass. I think it was DOA. But what's your opinion, Marlon?
What the Save Act is the voting? Is that the voting?
Yeah, it's the voting act. Basically, you have to show that you are an American citizen, etc., in order to vote. Okay. And I have said I've always, whenever I go vote, I always show my ID and I sign. But I'm an American, and the fact that you want people to believe that you have all these people, and I'm not saying that there aren't some people, but all these people that, basically it's rigged to vote. It just defies all common sense to me. And the reason I say that is the current administrator, he won twice. How can you explain how you won twice, but when it looks like you're not prevailing, oh, it's a sham? I don't understand it. I mean, just make it make sense. But listen, how people feel about it is how people feel about it. Do I agree? Do I disagree? All I'm saying is what I'm saying is, I, look at the motivation behind it, okay, and then make a informed decision about whether or not you agree with it or not. But Marlon, tell us how you feel about it.
And we're talking about voter suppression. Some of it is accurate, some of it's imagined, some of it's propaganda from both sides. And Kenneth Reed does not support the SAVE Act. And I'm going to take it a step further. Good morning, Timothy. Hope the air is safe. We hope that it is. And Jill's given us the SAVE Act solution in search of a problem. And I'm going to go along with what Jill's saying. And this is the reason why I think this. Really, the future is internet voting. And I am in favor of people casting their ballot whichever way they can cast their ballot. I think whether it's the internet, I work for the city. Do you think I want to go in and deal with the election workers every 3, 4, 6 months and hear their problems and have them tell me what's going on at City Hall? I sure don't. I don't care to see them. Not that I have anything against anybody. I don't want to go to the polls and spend an hour and 15 minutes listening to the problems of the community. So I am a big fan of mail-in voting. And I think that this country has the resources to verify who's voting and who's not voting. That's where we miss the connection, right? If I cast 2 ballots, if I cast an internet ballot, a vote, and then I'm standing at the polls, I can guarantee you that someone's going to be able to figure that one out. So my answer is, Jill is right along the right lines of it is a solution in search of a problem, right? It's not a solution. We're spending millions of dollars trying to pass legislation to prevent people from voting. And if there's any truth to that, that's outrageous. That could be the outrage of the day.
Wait a minute. Why is that such news when, the Voters' Right Act as it relates to African Americans still has not been passed? But, and this, as an African American, as a Black person, listen, if I even smell the hint of suppression, you're going to get some pushback because, again, I'm going to ask you, what is your real motivation? What is your real motivation? Especially when I feel like we have not, as African Americans, been protected. But, that's my opinion, and my opinion belongs to me and me only.
But here's the story, right? And Marlon, you're talking about you should be able to prove you're legally eligible to vote. Well, I proved I was legally eligible to vote when I was 18 years old. And I've been in the same house since 1991 when the city forced me to reside inside the city to be employed by the city. So I don't think it'd be too hard to track down my voting record.
Absolutely.
Right. One of the reasons I hate voting in primaries because I think it's important not to tell people who I'm going to vote for. Because today I might want to vote for this guy or this woman, and in 2 years might want to vote for somebody else. That's why I think the primary is you should be able to vote for whoever you want to vote for in a primary. You should be able to vote for Abdul El-Sayed, and you should be able to vote for Mike Cox, who's no longer running. One's a Democrat, one's a Republican.
You should vote for Vanessa Moss.
Well, I'm just, I'm talking about different parties here. Everybody knows you're supposed to vote for Vanessa Moss. I think Jill Sheridan's going to do a write-in from Florida, and Marlon are going to vote for. No, I'm kidding. Absolutely, but my point is, why are we limiting our right to vote? When you do that, you open the door to people voting for whoever they think has the least chance of winning the next election. It's going on, and Vanessa has information that could probably indicate that she may know people have done this. People voted for El-Sayed because they think Mike Rogers can beat El-Sayed. They voted for Haley Stevens because they thought Rogers could beat. There's all kinds of nonsense going on in these primaries.
And then the other thing is, the question is, will it have a chilling effect? We already have uh, low voter turnout, especially in these here parts, right? I live in the city, so the voter turnout is really, really low. How much more of a chilling effect will it have? Now, you'll have some people who even watch the show say things like, well, what difference does it make? People don't vote anyway. Well, you know what? The one thing that we do have is, we have free will, and the choice. As long as we're in our right mind, we have the ability to change our mind. And one day somebody just may wake up and say, you know what, I haven't done it, but I'm going to do it now. Is this thing going to have a chilling effect? I don't know. Again, those are questions that have not been answered. And like I said, my big question is why the 1963 Act, Voting Rights Act, as it impacts African Americans, have not been passed, but we're talking about the SAFE Act.
So Stephanie Jackson says we're not limiting our rights; it limits their rights, non-citizens.
Well, who is she talking about? Their rights. Is she talking about non-citizens? But how many non-citizens are there, and how many of them have a real impact, again, on the people that are elected? Again, you have the chief administrator crying file. How do you pronounce the word? File. Before the election even before we even have our primary. But how can you explain that? How can you reconcile that when you've won twice? It just defies all common sense to me.
I think we're selling the people that run elections short if we believe there's widespread voter fraud. I've seen the election process. I've been a part of the election process. Do I think there's people out there signing petitions that have no right to sign a petition or not registered to vote in the community? Absolutely. That kind of stuff's going on. But if I go cast a vote in place I used to live, Allen Park, and I cast a vote in Trenton, someone's going to find out that I did that, and I'm probably going to be facing charges. So right. I think Marlon's right. I think more than one thing can be right. You can be right in trying to prevent people that shouldn't vote, people that are not U.S. citizens from voting. I think I don't. There may be a problem, but I don't think it's a widespread problem. It's possible. It's possible I'm in the dark. I don't know, but there are checks and balances to identify who a registered voter is and if somebody voted for him. Now, can I vote for my dad and a write-in if he passed in the next election, probably getting away with it? Yeah, if nobody reports it, I could probably vote for my dad that passed 2 weeks or my mom that passed 2 or 3 months before the election if no one notices. But that's voter fraud. And I'm not going to do that because I don't want to go to jail to cast an extra vote. Could it be done?
So listen, I think that since this whole fraud thing has come to light, that you have seen far more people being charged and convicted of doing those kind of things. We had a case here in Wayne County where someone who was made legal decisions for people that were legally incapacitated, and was voting on these people's behalf because they didn't have the legal capability. But listen, this person was caught. This person has a conviction or convictions, and this person is certainly facing some more charges. So do things like that happen? Yes. The system was not designed to be perfect. It was designed to work. And with people, especially people that can be dishonest, people have that criminal mind, you're going to get things like that. But to think that it's the overwhelming majority I just think I just don't believe it. And again, you believe what you want to believe. We all believe. We make up our mind what we want to believe. And even if somebody comes to you with, look, here's the evidence or whatever, if I don't want to believe it, I don't want to believe it. I don't believe it's widespread. Do I believe like that things like that have happened? Yes. I also believe that some of these very same folks that people are talking about are responsible for putting some of these people in office. Make it make sense.
Back to our viewers, back to our friends out there. Tracy Smith, 8208, SAVE Act is being dictated by Project 2025. And I was not aware of that, Tracy. Thank you for that. If I just need you to find me 11,800 votes, I wonder who requested that. Thank you, Terry. And I always go back to a room I was in when it was state office where somebody was losing by 500 votes and he was looking for votes. But, there's a fine line, and I'm not suggesting you're wrong, Terry, but I'm going to say there's a fine line for somebody wishing and hoping and somebody having. So, everything some people say gets put under a magnifying glass, but it was probably a stupid thing to say at the very least. It was criminal at the very most. I'll go with that, Terry. You should be able to split your vote because some of these Democrats I don't like along with these Republicans. That's exactly right, Timothy. You should be able to vote who you want to, not only in a general election and a primary. Clean up the process. And that's just Michigan. That's the Michigan law. The principle of the matter is I see beyond Trump that surface. And I agree with you, Stephanie. And we can talk about that a little bit later in the show. I didn't see the speech the other night, but I think the president, and it's just my take again, is struggling with the fact that in 2 or 3 months, he's going to be a lame duck and he should no longer have influence over the political process. So I think he's feeling that. That's my personal take, is that he knows on January, whenever the new Congress gets sworn in, he's going to be old news. And I think he's struggling with that. That's my personal belief. Imagine you steal the 2024 election and accuse everyone else of fraud. Fred Allen, 8550. Thank you, Fred. Thank you for joining us. You're right, Stephanie. It applies to. Go ahead.
Stephanie says that the borders were open widespread. Why wouldn't voter fraud be widespread? Well, let me say this to you, Stephanie. Again, it's not as if the borders have not been open for a long time. As a matter of fact, if we're going to, you and I talked about this stuff last night after the show. If you're going to say that it's a problem now, I'm going to say it's always been a problem. It is not a problem as long as you are okay, whoever these people are. I'm not just talking about the current administrator, the president of the United States. I'm talking about all these people that's supporting this. Listen, if it is not just a problem now, I think this whole thing is very divisive. Do we need a process that could be better than the process that we have now? Most certainly. But what you're asking people to do, again, every policy, every piece of legislation is motivated by something. Okay.
Agreed.
Something and someone.
Somebody wins and somebody loses.
Exactly. And you have to ask the questions, what is your real motivation behind this? And what are the consequences behind this? And I think that once you do that, then you can make an informed decision whether or not you're going to do it. Listen, I didn't read Project 2025, to be honest with you. I only know one person who says that they read the Project 2025. I didn't read it. I saw blurbs in, the news outlets on social media. If you have not read the whole document, I don't know how you can make an informed decision or an informed opinion about it. The same as the SAVE Act. So, that's how I feel about it.
Listen, should we take a break and get back to Jill and Marlon?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
Midterm elections influence our schools, public safety, housing, and other services families rely on every day. including gas prices. While presidential elections get more attention, many decisions that affect daily life are made by leaders elected in the midterms. Voting helps ensure community concerns are heard. It holds leaders accountable and supports positive change. Make a plan to vote. Our community is strongest when every voice is heard. For more information, call or visit us online.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Saturday morning's edition. Listen, while we're on the break, I got a text. They was like, "Girl, you talking like you in court. You don't have to scream. You don't have to talk that loud." So I'm toning it down. But when I get excited, sometimes I get loud. So I just want to say that. Okay, go back to you, Jim.
Give them, whoever texted you, better give them my number too, so they can keep me in line. Non-citizens don't vote, Jill Sherman, because I sometimes raise my tone just a little. I don't want someone deciding my life has no legal right. Marlon, I'm just going to tell you this, Marlon. I agree with you. We can agree and disagree on the same point. You know, let's just say I did a little shopping this week, and let's just say I bought some golf balls from Carl's Golf Land. You know who knows I'm looking for golf balls? Everybody. Golf Galaxy, Dunham's, Dick's Sporting Goods. All these people know I'm looking for a dozen tailor-made golf balls because that's how the world works today. There are people that track everything we do. We leave a footprint when we do anything, especially on the internet. My point being that if I'm voting in two different elections, if I'm trying to vote for something and I do not have the legal right to do that, it's pretty easy to track people down. We have those resources, is all I'm trying to say. Did you say you were mandated by residency? Karen C., for your employment in 1991, I thought the state of Michigan forbade residency. Karen, in 1990, when I was hired, the Trenton City Charter required you to live in the city at date of hire, so I immediately had to move into the city. For police and fire, and I don't know about other city employees, there was legislation that was passed around 2010, I believe, that said cities could only require you to live within 20 miles of your city border. So that went away. Some good and some bad about residency. Our city decided to start paying people a little extra to live in the city, which I don't know if I'm for that or against it, but I think it hurt Detroit, and we've had comments on that over time that non-residency police officers that policed in Detroit and lived in Novi were bad for the community, and there is some truth to that. So I think it's very valuable if you're policing or a firefighter or an administrator in a city or a township or county that you live in that area. But there's a big difference between doing it because it's the right thing and being forced to do it.
Okay. Tracy Smith says everyone should read Project 2025 because it is the basis of many decisions. Okay. You also have a comment from, I think it was Backhand. Marlon says, "Oh, Michigan just uncovered voter fraud, big numbers." Okay. Worrying about voter fraud. This is Backhand 313 says worrying about voter fraud when the bigger issue is the fraud being committed by being we vote for is silly. I have yet to see legit numbers on widespread fraud.
I like that point, Backhand 313.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your position, because really once those people are elected, that's when the worrying begins, right? Not before the election. Typically, it's after the election, and we have elected officials that we have some issues with.
And Stephanie Jackson says Hillary said there was voter fraud. So here's the deal, though. I'm not. I personally am not laying this on the feet of one party. I'm saying these people use these talking points, and I think this is ties into what we were talking about last night. If you look like you are the person that's taking a learn, I don't like to use the word lose. If you're taking a learn, of course you're going to use these kind of things. It's very divisive. It really is. It basically takes our eyes off of what is really going on in this country. We got a whole lot of issues, right? a whole lot of issues. And one of the issues that I see is that a lot of the things that we as Americans, especially the middle class, that we have a problem with, you have both sides that's complicit with passing this legislation that impacts us the most, period. I believe that we're on a sliding slope into looking like countries where you have way up here, way down here, and no middle class. That's my opinion.
Community policing supports police and the officers living in the same city they work. Tracy Smith, 82A. I agree with that 100%. It's a different world now. Some officers, some firefighters, they get hired in Birmingham, but they can't afford to live in Birmingham. So, but generally, I agree with your point. The best police officers typically live in the city, but it's no longer required.
Who is Marlon? I don't know who he's talking about, but Marlon, you could come on the show anytime. It doesn't matter. Listen,
I know who he's talking about.
I don't know who he's talking about.
It's fine. You're welcome, Marlon, anytime. Yeah. Don't worry about that guy. He's all talk.
Yeah.
We love him, but he's all talk. Just like some may say Vanessa Moss or Jim Nardone, he's all talk. So, and that's fine because sometimes we are.
Right. And sometimes we have a different opinion, or we stay a different side just because we want to spur conversation and allow people to understand that there's different sides to a coin, right? And there's different argument. As you indicated earlier today, two things can be true at the same doggone time, okay? Leslie Moore says he had mentioned on 3 different shows, Romel Frazier Jr. losing his arms from a pit bull, and it was not recognized. Is it because pit bulls have a big lobby? I don't know.
That's a tragic story, Loss. That's awful.
What happened? I'm not familiar with it.
I think it was a young man, had both of his arms destroyed by pulled off by a pit bull. I remember vaguely seeing the story, but I'm not sure why, Les. I think that, here's the other side of the story. I belong to a gym that's, has a lot of veterans, 6-year-old.
The 6-year-old. Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, I do recall that.
And there's a guy that comes to the gym. He's a disabled veteran, and he has a pit bull, and it's the sweetest dog in the world. But I guess, we talk about, I read a story just the last 2 or 3 days about the animals that kill people. Everybody's afraid of bears and sharks and, not mosquitoes and not dogs. Well, dogs are like second or third in the most deaths in the United States. I think dogs are number 2. Hundreds of people are killed by dogs every year. And I just think people love their dogs. So,
it's interesting that he should bring that up because I have a cousin who lives in Panama. And last week, we had a big family event, and that's why I was gone. And he, actually, I could tell now because I'm back because I don't post things like that. But we were on a cruise, and he says to me, and this is a cousin, he and I are like 11 months apart. His sister and I are 4 months apart, something like that. But so we grew up like siblings. And he says to me, Vanessa, I'm so embarrassed. I can't participate in any of the water sports or anything like that because he has 2 pit bulls. And his pit bulls got into a fight, and he tried to pull them apart. And guess what? They attacked him. He is all eaten up on his side, his legs. Fortunately, he is still alive and well. 2 things. One, he lives in the mountains by himself. So my first response was, what the whole heck? What do you mean? I mean, you're by yourself. Nobody was there nobody's close by to check on you or anything like that. 2, Those dogs, I know people have pets and they love them, but there's something in them that is just really vicious, mean dogs. But once they've had a taste of that human blood, guess what? I said, you're going to have to get rid of them. You're going to have to at least get rid of one. And so he had to go back to Panama and make the decision. My plan is to call him today to find out exactly what happened. But I promise you, I don't want a pet that will turn on me and attack me and possibly kill me. When we talked about that, I found out from another friend who indicated she works at the hospital, Henry Ford Hospital. She works in triage. One of her neighbors came in. She has a dog, and she said the dog would drag her. She would take the dog out late in the evening because the dog was so vicious and mean, but this woman is really attached to her dog. And I'm going to call it a dog. I usually refer to them as fur babies, but when you act like this, you are a dog as far as I'm concerned. This dog, she would not take him out in the day because he is so doggone mean. Bottom line is he attacked her and bit her whole lip off, her whole lip. Now, because she was in the hospital, they have a duty to what? They have a duty to report it, right? She was so concerned because she's so emotionally attached to this animal. She didn't want them to report it because she knows what's going to happen. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? I don't want anything. No, nothing that I got to feed, nothing that I got to take out to use the bathroom, nothing that I have to go and take shots, go and get shot. I don't want anything like that in my home, in my area. I don't want to have to take care of anything like that and go to bed at night and think about, well, what is he or she going to do tonight or today? That kind of mentality. I'm not a pit bull fan. I'm not a Rottweiler fan. I'm not a Doberman Pinscher fan. And guess what? We've had, as I was growing up, we've had all three of them. Don't like them, don't want them. And guess what? If people have them, I understand people love their pets. I understand that they are emotional comfort. In the case of my cousin, because he lives in the mountains, that they listen out for maybe animals or something that may come to his property. But no, thank you. No, thank you.
And I just want to say thank you to Les for sharing that story. I'm looking at it on Click On. The statement from the grandmother, and it's tragic. Romel, I'm sorry, the name again is Romel.
Yep, Jill says
Romel Frazier Jr.
Yeah.
And our thoughts and prayers go out. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Romel Frazier Jr. Hopefully he can recover. The story is that one arm was amputated, according to Click On, and they were planning possibly for the second one. But those are certain.
Whose father sent him out to feed the dog. Is this the same story?
I'm not sure. That's
Les could tell us. Les made a point. He says, "Listen, even police trained dogs would turn on their trainer." Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Unfortunately, those animals need to be destroyed when they behave that way. You can't always tell when they're going to behave that way. Is really the challenge, You don't know when an animal is going to behave that way. Timothy, sometime you have to get rid of those vicious dogs, or you can get hurt. And when you say get rid of them, I think you agree is they need to be destroyed. They can't go to another family. They can't go to the shelter and tell people these are fine dogs, because they need to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Jill says she has tried to trust pit bulls from her neighbor's dog, but her neighbor's dog attacked her dog unprovoked more than once. Found out the hard way. The vets don't report the attacks unless it's a person involved, not a dog. That's interesting, because when I talked to D Love, hey D Love, she's on vacation, but D Love told me about a mutual, her cousin, someone that I know, her neighbor's dog was attacked by some Roman, and they killed her dog. They killed her pet. And you know what I dislike? Let me say this. I go to someone's house and they have what I would call a fur baby until you show me that you're a dog. Oh, they're nice. They're not going to attack you. That's your dog. That's your dog. I don't know your dog. Don't tell me. No, I'm not going to trust that. I cannot stand when people do that. And then, you want me to come in and, oh, they're not going to bother you. Would you please, if you invited me into your home, please respect me and put your pet away, or don't invite me over. I'm good. We could talk on the phone. We could FaceTime. We could do all those things. But I don't, because I've seen so many instances where they have turned around and attacked you. And one thing I did learn is that once they get a taste of that human blood, there's no turning back. So in the case of the little boy that was attacked, okay, yeah, they have to put the dog down, but now he's an amputee. It's very, very sad.
A double amputee. So, good morning, Mr. Duckett. Good to see you this one. Miss Sheila's waiting patiently.
Yeah, let her in. Come on into the room.
One of our frequent contributors, former educator. Thank you, Miss Sheila, for coming on.
I was just letting Miss Vanessa exercise her wonderful professional skills, and I enjoyed listening to it. So I want to share something with you. Next probate judge, I got a situation. Listen, a particular person was initially became a guardian, and you got to report every year or whatever the court tell you to report.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
So
yes.
Okay, there you go. There are your skills. So they didn't report. Okay. So they was trying to contact this new guardian, and they happened to call me. All right. Mm-hmm. And I gave them the number, and let the attorney for the court get in touch with them, Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you, I got two questions. What is the penalty for not reporting in the correct, timely fashion? And if it is a penalty?
The penalty is removal as the guardian. But let me say this. A lot of times people want things to happen immediately. It's not. Okay. You have people who work and they process the paperwork and that kind of thing. It takes time, but the penalty is removal. You can't, first of all, to take on the responsibility as a guardian, and if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you only have to have contact with the ward 4 times a year. That's it. You don't have to go visit them every day or anything like that. 2, you are supposed to submit your annual report. If you don't submit it, and sometimes, let's be clear, sometimes some people, they may forget. So they will give them a little time to rectify, or as I would say, cure the issue. But if you don't do that, it will be a removal, and then they will appoint what we call a successor guardian, which means that person will pick up from that other individual.
Thank you for that information.
You're welcome.
And tell our viewers about guardian ad litem, Vanessa, and what their role in the process.
Guardian ad litem is an attorney that is appointed by the court. And in Wayne County, there's a list of names. You have to take some training. You pay money to take some training, and your name go on a list, and you say, hey, I want to be a guardian ad litem. If you want to be a guardian ad litem, or if you want to do guardianship reviews, you're not a guardian ad litem, you serve it as an attorney. So guardian ad litem is the eyes and ears of the court. You are designated to go out, do the investigation, talk to I did. Talk to all the interested parties in the case, look at all the documentation, and you report back to the court and make a recommendation. The judges rely on their guardian ad litem. And if the guardian ad litems are doing very good reports and it shows that they actually have done the work, that they've actually went out and made contact with the individuals, looked at all the documentation, then, those are the attorneys that will get more work as guardian ad litems. Now, there's also something that's called, Ms. Sheila, you were talking about guardians, a guardian review. There are attorneys who accept appointments, and they have to do is they go out and they do a guardianship review, which is they actually talk to the ward, they report back to the court how the ward is doing, where the ward is staying, and that kind of thing. You have to understand that Wayne County, and I live in Wayne County, it's the biggest county in terms of people and population in the state of Michigan. So you have 43 cities, you have all these people that have guardianships, and some of them don't even have relatives or identifiable relatives. They may be nursing homes, they may be in adult foster care homes. We find out that people have boarding homes and saying that they home health care businesses, when in fact they are boarding homes. You have all kinds of things that's going on, and they appoint attorneys, or attorneys accept the appointment, because you don't have to do that kind of work, and they actually report back to the court, okay, this person is at such and such nursing home, they doing well, he or she continues to have be legally incapacitated, their illnesses are blah blah blah, this is their income, and that's that. Okay. And you also report this person knows the year, the date and time, and all of that. That is what you are supposed to do. So that's how that works. Okay. And the conservatorship, you didn't ask me about that. Guardianship is over the person. Conservatorship is over the person's bounty. That means their estate. So every penny that you spend of that person's estate, you have to give an accounting. It's called an accounting. You have to do that every single year. And what happens is when you turn in that accounting, the judge appoints a guardian ad litem to go over that accounting and make sure that those receipts line up, those numbers line up, and all of that. If that does not happen, then you're going to have some issues. You may possibly face a removal. The problem with a lot of those things is this. You have family members of, oh, Vanessa, they removed me. Well, did you do what you were supposed to do? And they appointed a stranger. I wouldn't want, and unfortunately, my parents aren't here, my grandparents aren't here, but I could never dream a world where I would have one of my relatives that need help, and I would want somebody that is not related, that is not vested, because you do have relatives that's not vested. You ain't seen them in 5 billion years, and then all of a sudden they pop up because they think that they can benefit financially from from being appointed.
I'm glad you said that.
And the courts don't want it either, Vanessa, right?
And
the courts don't want
exactly.
It. Should we take a break and then get back to some of our friends?
Take a break and then you could come back.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Midterm elections influence our schools, public safety, housing, and other services families rely on every day, and that includes gas prices. While presidential elections get more attention, many decisions that affect daily life are made by leaders elected in the midterms. Your vote is your voice. Voting helps ensure community concerns are heard. It holds leaders accountable and supports positive change. Make a plan to vote and encourage family, friends, and neighbors to do the same. Our community is strongest when every voice is heard. For more information on how and when to vote, call 313-876-0190 or go to detroitmi.gov/elections. When we vote, we don't just choose leaders, we choose the future of our community. vote.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Saturday mornings edition. We're here with the chief. I gave Allan that name, Eastside L, so I'm just gonna give you, and I'm not even gonna say the chief. I'm gonna make it even better. I'll make it spicier. The chief. The chief, Jim Nardone, as well as myself. And we also have one of our Detroit in Black and White viewers. She's always sharing the page, and she's always sharing information. Miss Sheila, go ahead, Miss Sheila. Then I want to go back to some of the comments. Go ahead, Miss Sheila.
I just want to say thanks for the educational moment right now. This is very much a teachable moment. Initially, I was going to become my aunt's guardian because her sister wanted to turn her over to the state. And I was like, oh no, we're not going to let nobody, just like you said, a stranger, supervise and have authority over my aunt. Okay. So I knew my aunt, her sister needed her income, right? And she really wanted me to take on the task because of my background. And she knew I know how to handle. So make a long story short, when I found out that she put my grandmother's house in her name while my grandmother's incapacitated, I told her, I said, that's wrong. You can't do that. She has another child. And as soon as I said that, now she wanted to be the guardian again. So no problem. I moved out the way. So I was only the guardian for 1 month. So I gave it back to her. Make a long story short, she ain't taking care of business. My grandmother passed, okay, and she got my aunt's income now because my grandmother is gone. So she wasn't taking care of business, as I said to you. So my name is still on the record. They was trying to get in touch with her. They couldn't get in touch with her. So then attorney called me and asked, for her information. So me, I'm going to tell her the information. I'm going to tell her everybody's name. And I told them about what, happened about my grandmother's house. She had no business putting her name on the house. Okay. And I'm just for the righteous, even though I know my aunt is, incapacitated, but still, you don't do that. I'm a mother and I do the right thing. Okay. By anybody. So like I said, the attorney called me and I put him back in touch with her. So he said he just couldn't go over to the house. I gave him the address, everything. And he said he couldn't go over to the house. He's going to try to make contact. So I got in touch with my uncles, and put the word to her. So that's why I wanted to ask you, what happens when you don't take care of business,
Right. So
and report?
Let me say this, Sheila. It sounds like she was taking care of business. She was taking care of her own business. But what's going to happen here is this. If a person is legally incapacitated, it is legally impossible for them to be able to transfer property, to sign a deed saying that this property goes to such and such. So guess what? Homegirl is going to have problems. I don't know what county it's in.
You're
a county. That's why I said it.
But the judge would have to approve the sale of a property. Am I wrong?
Well, not the judge has to approve the sale of the. The judge does have to approve the sale of the property. But what happens is this: with the guardianship and the conservatorship, it dies when the person dies. It's no longer in existence. So you're gonna have this questionable deed. Now, the deed is dated during the time that your aunt was legally incapacitated. It's a whole big problem.
That's why I'm sharing this, because I know this is a teachable moment for all of us. Okay, and I like to learn. I don't know it all, and I seek professionals all the time. Now, I got another situation for you I want to ask you. Because you know what you're talking about, and everybody can learn something from this and understand why you would take that position with authority and righteousness. And I'm here for it. So listen to this. How about a place has mold in it, faulty floors, and lead-based paint. So that this is a condo in Bloomfield. So we find out that the HOA, they want to take the property now because that mold contaminating the building and other people. Okay, so they just had an inspection. The HOA had inspection on the property, right? Mm-hmm. The inspection came back severe. Okay, the electrical panel was not approved by the city. It's been a fire in the place, and this guy that owns it is a real estate broker. Okay, and he has two names. All right, I ain't never heard of anybody in United States can use two names. Okay, just because they're from the Chinese heritage.
Look, girl, there's people in the United States that's using two social security numbers. But listen, we got people in the comment section saying Miss Sheila's hogging up all the time. So here's the deal. I don't know if this person that's living in the property is incapacitated. I don't know what the deal is, but we're gonna have to move on. That's really unfortunate. No one should have to live, or no one should be living in a place where there's black mold, where there's lead paint, and all these other issues. That is a problem. We have a problem, especially in this area, with these people owning property and they're not doing anything with the property. They're not abating the problems. They're not addressing the problems. But guess what? They're collecting this money. And that is a problem. And guess what? We have to make sure that these legislatures that they have, that we vote for, that they work for us and protect us. Thank you so much, Ms. Sheila. We got to get to some of our viewers because they're hating on you.
Thank you for the educational moment, and I hope everybody learned something.
Thank you. Let's get to our contributors before we go home today. They deserve to be heard.
So, Kenneth, I appreciate you. He says he always, let's see what he says. He says he put Farouk and Scotty away whenever we have company. I think that is awesome. Miss Tracy says that she talks about she lives in an apartment building, and I'm going to paraphrase, and other tenants have dogs in the hallway. Yep, same here. And you know what? I try to stay away from it. And sometimes you guys hear me say that I'm fur babysitting. It's a little toy Yorkie, and I promise you, if she decides that she wants to bite me, she will no longer be welcomed in my home. Okay. Who is this? You want to take some of them, Jim?
Marlon says the Wayne County Probate Court is a joke. When Vanessa, and when probate opens a year after death with no assets, do a search to see if assets change ownership within 18 months. A lot of that, Marlon, is the reporting before it gets to the probate court and how people sometimes don't do what they're supposed to do outside the court. I found that experience when I was I was a guardian and a conservator. I don't want to get into all the specifics, but sometimes it's the reporting process that the court is waiting on and doesn't get there. The British Open always seems to have the toughest course in professional golf. Thank you, Kenneth. Way over my head, but I have a lot of help from my wife and caregivers when Kenneth was also a guardian. Thank you, Kenneth, for that. It's tough work. There's a lot of responsibility with guardianship and conservatorship. And I think people fail to recognize how much it is. Eastside Community Network Forum, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out and talk to candidates before voting. If you live on the east side, Tracy Smith, 82. Thank you, Tracy Smith, for that tip. Eastside Community Forum, 10 a.m. to 4. Is that today, Tracy? Vanessa, will you have to leave the podcast once you become a probate judge? We'll talk about that later, Les.
Right.
Thank you for the question. Agree indeed. Vanessa, what does fraud look like in guardianships? Les, I won't say it's there's always going to be an opportunity, and there's going to be a very small group of people that are going to take advantage of the system, like Ms. Sheila was pointing out, over a deed. So to say that it's probably minimal. Good judges, good guardian ad litems, good guardians, and conservators are the ones that step up and try and prevent that. And I don't know what the rate is. We just had a case where a private company that became guardian ad litems was allegedly, they haven't been convicted, right, of a young a judge and a lawyer in Detroit family group. But we won't get into that. There is some evidence of fraud in the probate court system.
Yep.
The security guard has been reported, Terry McCrimmon, reportedly been fired. He must have been asleep at the wheel there, Terry, when a man slipped into this Today Show in New York City during a live broadcast. He was looking for Al Roker, apparently, shouted racial slurs and confronted Craig Melvin before taken into custody and charged. That's awful. He's got a job to do, and he apparently failed. There's this is an important point. Everybody that's out there, I want you to listen to this point for sure. There's a GoFundMe page for Ramel Frazier. Please help him out if you can. If you're so inclined and you have a few bucks, let's not forget people that had these that Ramel is going to be. He's going to have challenges for the rest of his life. Sadly, 6 years old.
6 years old, and you know what? I can't imagine how his father feels, because his father sent him out there to feed the dog, and that's what happened. Listen, Power Orgs made it, and I keep showing it because I think it's interesting. He said the pit bull breed is divisive and needs to be eliminated, but it's your idiot friends over there at PETA and SPCA who can't get it through their thick skulls. These are the same people who move into communities where bear signs are posted. They'll wonder why the bear mauled the out of them during the evening walk. That's very interesting. I know that listen, I love animals, but I love the human race more. And if there's an animal that is attacking and can kill someone, I'm sorry, no, I'm not with it. And that whole thing about, I remember there was a big campaign. I don't know if it's still true, but if you wore your fur coat, they were gonna put paint on you and all that stuff. And it was a group of us. It's like, I wish they would. I'm sorry. Don't wear shoes then. Don't wear a belt. I mean, almost everything that we use is made out of some portion of an animal. Stop the cap. Okay.
And thank you again, Les, for bringing that to everybody's attention today on the story of Ramel Frazier Jr. Thank you. Marlon Holt says humans who drive by, shoot, and kill innocent people should be put down too. Tell us how you really feel, Marlon.
Right.
I think Marlon lives in a capital punishment state. Michigan is not a capital punishment state. So, that's the way it is right now. But thank you for your comment. There's a little boy who was sent to feed the dog. Yes, Timothy. Thank you. I was not that familiar with the story. I just caught a little snippet of it, and I'm glad it was brought to the attention of all of our viewers and of us.
Yeah. Some
of these young ladies walking their dog weigh less than a dog's. No, ma'am. Tracy Smith, 8208. Karen Winston talks about her pity that she loved. Heartbreaking. She got dementia and was in pain, moaning all night. I had to put her down 5 years ago. I understand, Karen. We do. Janet Saluk. Good, steamy, and smoky morning. Where you been, Jan? To wipe that sleep out of your eyes and join the show. We talked about Tracy Smith's comment on apartment building and Scotty, and I think we're caught up at the top. If there's a top and a bottom here, I'm going to go to the bottom and see if we can catch a couple more. Great show, Miss Vanessa. Thank you for the teachable moments. Miss Sheila. Hopefully we learned anything and have a doggy gate that I use to keep company comfortable, and that's a great plan, Karen. Some people don't want dog hair all over them. They don't want dog slobbering all over them. So we should be considerate of other human beings. So I think I got everybody. If I miss somebody, just write your name in the comments. Say, Jim, you forgot me, dumbass, and I'll see if I can find it.
And let's be clear, as far as Vanessa's concerned, I feel that way about any pet. I don't want to come to your house and you have a cat or kitten and they're purring and they're rubbing up against my clothes. And no, I just, it's not my pet. So to ask me to trust your pet that you have emotional attachments with, your pet that has an attachment to you, to think that they're going to have that same attachment to me. No, thank you. No. And trust me, I grew up with almost every animal you can think of. When I asked my parents for hamsters, gerbils, We had every kind of dog that you can think of. Parrots. We had a bird that was so big one time. We had a zoo cage in the living room, and you could hear him scream all the way down the street. They had to use these big old gloves. My father was an animal lover, and I mean turtles, all kind of fish. Listen, I've had it all, and I'm straight. I love animals, but I don't want your pit bull. I don't want your Rottweiler. I don't want your Doberman Pinscher. Period. The end. Hey,
Timothy says it best. People are more valuable than animals. Thank you,
absolutely.
Timothy. And Terry talks about PETA becoming popular with the baby seals in Canada. You know, a lot of these organizations, a lot of them could be far more effective if they had a little more common sense instead of being activists, right, left, environmentalists. You know, we have the same thing, right?
Right.
They're burning Teslas in California. Well, you might have a role, but please try and think logically when you're trying to get your point across.
Right.
Something we don't all always do, but we should be better at it, all of us.
So we want you guys to have a wonderful Saturday. We thank you so much for joining us this Saturday morning, spending your Saturday morning with Detroit in Black and White. Listen, Detroit in Black and White presents Reality Strikes with Eric Brown on Monday evenings from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. But, you know, if you want to catch the hot, smoky show, you know what y'all gonna do. You gonna join us on Wednesday evening at 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. In the meantime, in between time, tell your friends about the greatest show on these YouTube streets. They can watch the replay. We'll see you guys. Take care. We love you. Bye.